from being one of the most successful players of all time to getting caught up in controversy. In spite of all the bad press he gets, Novak Djokovic has managed to turn the tide in his favor. Here's all about his fight for equal pay for women in tennis. Actually, his early comments on this subject ran into quite a lot of backlash. I mean, he's had quite the journey. His views have evolved a lot over time. You have to know his name if you're into tennis. He's one of the most successful people around in the sport, and he's won a bunch of accolades, not to mention the records he's broken. Now, he did get caught up in controversy regarding his views on equal pay when he initially came out with this opinion. A lot of people turned against him, but now he's switched it up. In fact, he's taken steps to address the issue of equal pay. These days, Novak is actually one of the most vocal supporters of his female colleagues.
He breaks through.
Djokovic.
So, what exactly did he say initially that got him into so much trouble? Well, he used to think that men should get more money since more people watch men's tennis. Yeah, he said that it's obviously a delicate situation, and he respects and admires women for what they're doing. In fact, equal prize money had been a subject of debate for over a decade in tennis, and he himself had been through the process, so he understood how much power and energy WTA and all the other advocates for equal prize money had put in, so he applauded them for this effort. But he did think that the men's world should fight for more.
Great movement again from Tommy. I did not think he was going to get to this one. I thought this was almost perfect drop shot. Again, finding a way to...
This was because more people were watching men's tennis, so women should fight for what they think they deserve. I mean, you can guess why a lot of people in the tennis community lost their minds when they heard this. Djokovic also said that stats showed that men's matches attract more spectators. But if you look at online betting on tennis markets, you'll see that even though there is more interest in men's matches, women aren't that far off. Still, a lot of people were angry at the tennis player for making this statement, so he had to deal with people criticizing him for dismissing the achievements of female players. It was also seen as an attempt to undermine all the progress that had been made toward equal pay in tennis. Interestingly, he did say that he wasn't getting into a men versus women debate. You see, he accepted that women face more challenges than men to succeed in the game.
He never backs down from a fight. And this is a place where he has had great success in the...
Novak said that he acknowledged that women also had to battle hormones. According to him, there was a lot of respect owed to women in global sports for what they are doing and achieving. The tennis player also admitted that women's bodies were much different from men's, and this meant that they had to go through a lot of different things that men don't have to. He did not elaborate on what these different things were though. He just referred to them as hormones and different stuff. Djokovic also added that he had a woman as his coach, and she had been a big part of his career. "I'm surrounded by women," he said. The tennis player also mentioned that he was happy to be married to a woman and have a child.
Right now I have motivation, I have support of the close ones, which is also something that is probably underestimated and not maybe talked about.
In fact, he was completely for women power, but then he insisted that as long as there's data and stats available on who attracts more attention and who has more spectators, who sells more tickets and stuff, well, money had to be fairly distributed then. Interestingly, things slowly changed, because despite what he had said earlier, Djokovic ended up having a big change of heart on the subject. I mean, going from unsupportive to neutral would be one thing, but he really switched teams. He ended up becoming a vocal supporter for equal pay in tennis. Just think about his statement from 2016. He actually apologized for any offense he had caused by the remarks he's made. Then he added that he was very respectful of all the female colleagues he had. This was only the beginning of his advocacy, because after that, he kicked it up a notch. He's made more and more statements in public supporting equal pay in tennis. Plus, he also supports and advocates for better pay distribution for lower-ranked players. In fact, he took things so far in 2019 that he actually suggested men take a pay cut. Also, it could be ensured that women get equal pay. And this isn't all. This man also co-founded an association to address the issue of the pay gap in tennis. This went down in 2020. Basically, Djokovic co-founded the Professional Tennis Players Association, or PTPA. This association makes it a goal to give players a greater voice in the decision-making process. This way, it can be made sure that players are being fairly compensated for their efforts. I think that's pretty commendable. Plus, Novak himself has stated that the PTPA doesn't plan on being a rival to the existing organizations related to tennis. Instead, it's a way for players to work collaboratively and create a future for the sport which is more equitable. And his reasoning will definitely leave you impressed. After all, Djokovic believes that the issue of equal pay in tennis isn't just about fairness within the sport. He argues that it goes much deeper than that. In fact, it's about promoting sex equality more broadly. So, in one interview with Wall Street Journal, he actually mentioned that for him, equal prize money is just one of the pillars of equality. The tennis player added that he wanted to use his platform to promote a positive change in society, and equal pay isn't the only area in which he's been supportive of women's rights. He's also been a very vocal supporter of women in other areas as well. For example, he's spoken out against violence against women and girls, as well as sex discrimination. I guess what I'm trying to say is that he may have made some offensive comments in the past, but would you look at this evolution? Notice the way he didn't just stop at taking back the comments, he also apologized. But that would have been enough for the critics. So when he took concrete steps beyond that for the cause, you could really tell that he was doing this out of principle and not just backlash. See, the fact that he founded the PTPA showed that he's actually committed to creating a future for the sport that is more equitable. The broader advocacy for sex equality also goes beyond tennis. It shows that he genuinely cares about the issue across the board. I think this is the perfect reminder that people can change their views for the better. We all live and learn, but there's one tennis player who's got an interesting opinion on this whole matter, and that player is Serena Williams. Yup, it's the queen of tennis. She urged Novak to explain to little kids why male players, in his opinion, deserved more money than female players. She added that she has a daughter who plays tennis as well as a son, but she wouldn't say that her son deserves more because he was a man. The 21-time Grand Slam winner was very sure that if both her kids started playing tennis at 3 years of age, then they both deserve to get the same money. Well, I'm glad Novak has changed his mind since then, because it's not a great sight to be arguing about money with one of the most prolific tennis players of all time. This was all about Novak's evolution from controversy to advocacy for equal pay in tennis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.